Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections here for Sunday, April 4th. Before we get into today's play of the day, a quick recap what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a pretty tough loss with the 76ers minus 10 and minus 110 on BetMGM. Beat a serious line move, line close at 76ers minus 14. So we beat a 4-point line move, and then the 76ers were up by, I believe, 19 with 25 seconds left in the third quarter. A couple of fouls and some technicals in there, and then it ended up happening that the 76ers were up by 14 going into the fourth, which is where you really want to be. And then Towns took over, had 39 points and 14 rebounds, and the 76ers only won by 9. So pretty brutal, lost by the bare minimum, and we also beat a huge line move. But it happens in the NBA. We'll look for a bounce-back winner here on Sunday. However, since the spreads have not been working out so well for us lately, we're going to be going back to totals. And for this one, we're going to be looking at a matchup between the Orlando Magic and the Denver Nuggets. And for the play of the day, we're going to be looking at a team total, and it will be on the Magic. Team total under 100.5 points at minus 125 on Fox Bet. The time recording of 4:54 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, first of all, I know at first glance you're going to see 100.5 for a team total in today's NBA and immediately get scared by it. However, I do think that this line is definitely warranted, and it probably should even be lower if you look at how Orlando has played offensively lately. And the Magic already had one of the worst offenses in the league, averaging about 104 points per game, and that was before they traded all of their best players. After trading Gordon and Fournier and Vucevic, the Magic have been awful offensively if you just go through the actual numbers. Orlando, in the couple of games that have played without those three guys, if you just go through the results here, scored 105 against Portland, which I guess sounds impressive, except for the fact that Portland's on pace to have the second worst defense in the history of the sport. Only scored 105. Scored 93 against the Lakers. Scored 103 against the Clippers, which is still impressive. Ended up winning the game in a shocking upset on a huge second half, but still, that was a little bit fluky. Then ended up scoring 101 in regulation against the Pelicans. Ended up having 115 because the game went to overtime. Scoring 101 against the Pelicans, who are on pace for the fourth worst defense in the history of the sport. And then played yesterday against Utah and only scored 91 en route to a 46-point loss. So in addition to having a terrible offense, this team is also on the second night of a back-to-back. Now has to play in altitude in Denver. I think Orlando's going to have a complete no-show here. Might not even reach like 95 points here, but at 105, this total just seems way too high based on the Magic. And of course, it's not just based on the Orlando's offense. It is also based on Denver's revived defense. Of course, Denver ended up acquiring Aaron Gordon from the Magic, and ever since he showed up, the Nuggets have been phenomenal defensively. The Nuggets have not allowed more than 102 points in any game since. Gave up 102 to the Hawks, gave up 95 to the 76ers, and 94 against the Clippers. This team defensively has really turned over a new leaf. And if you look at Denver, this team has really buckled down defensively. And if you look at the defensive efficiency numbers, really still middle of the road because, of course, the numbers haven't fully adjusted for Aaron Gordon's arrival. But Denver currently ranks tied for 18th in defense efficiency, which is important because Orlando actually played against Denver a couple of weeks ago before the Gordon trade happened, and they ended up playing against Denver on, let me just pull up the date right here, on March 23rd, and they scored 99 points. Now, I know, of course, it sounds close to 105. However, that was before Denver completely reinvented its team, and that was when Denver still had a very underwhelming defense, still couldn't reach 100 in that game. And now that Aaron Gordon is on this team, I do think Orlando will struggle, especially with fatigue in the second half of this matchup. But looking at some other factors here, it is also worth mentioning that Denver has one of the slowest paces in the league. Denver ranks 26th in pace. So I do expect, in addition to the great defense, Denver to slow the pace to a crawl, play in the half court, eat up a ton of clock, and I do think you'll have less possessions for Orlando to work with than what they're normally accustomed to. Orlando also offensively, I talked about how bad the offense is, but in efficiency standpoint, ranks 28th in the league, and that's not even including the, I'd say, recent reduction of talent on the roster, because a lot of those statistics were based on when Vucevic was still there. So Orlando could arguably have the worst offense in the league right now, maybe second worst behind the Cavs, but either way, Denver's been elite defensively, Orlando's been a mess offensively, and is playing on a back-to-back in altitude. Orlando should really struggle offensively here. I would be shocked if they get over 100. I expect them to probably finish in the low 90s, but at minus 125, I just think that's a very good price. I know if you wanted to find something cheaper, you can find it on BetMGM at 99.5 on a team total, and the under is minus 115. But I'll take the extra point there for just 10 cents of juice. The play that I once again here for Sunday, April 4th, is going to be on the Magic. Team total under 100.5 at minus 125 on Fox Bet. That's been this installment, Scott. So I can go to all of you and respective best today. Bye, everyone.